Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whenever this video finds you, I hope you're having a rad time. I'm the Figure Dude, and on today's Action Figure Showcase, we're going to take a look at Bray Wyatt. Without further ado, let's talk about some figures. Dude. I don't think I need to tell anyone at this point. I don't think it's news, but last week we tragically lost Bray Wyatt suddenly, and whether he was your cup of tea or not, I don't think you can really argue that his time in WWE was very impactful. I know I personally was a really big fan of him. Some people weren't always into his supernatural kind of stuff he got into. Some people weren't into his character, but almost from the onset when he came to the main roster, I thought him and the Wyatt family were really, really cool, and I always thought it was going to go places that it didn't really make it to. I kind of always hoped for more with Bray Wyatt. The swamp gimmick of his right here was always my favorite. I thought it was so different, it was so cool, and from that point on, I just kind of, I was a huge fan. I was excited that he came back to WWE. I was really shocked when he was originally released, but when he came back, I don't know what I thought of his story he had going. I was invested though, because I think his mind is brilliant. I'm a huge horror fan, so just mixing some of those kind of elements, and I always thought was really cool. But anyway, I'm gonna get on with it. I've got a few Bray Wyatt figures here. We've got some Wyatt family I'm gonna throw up too, so let's get to the showcase. Anyway, this is the first Elite, and I think it is Elite 28, I want to say, and this figure itself, outside of just being Bray Wyatt, is very special to me because it is the first Mattel figure that I got that was a first time in the line, new character. Up to this point, I had gotten, I had just kind of started collecting, and I got, The Rock, an Elite Rock, I got Triple H, I had picked up The Miz, Randy Orton, kind of staples from back when I was watching more during the Ruthless Aggression era, that late period. And when I got back into wrestling and started actually buying figures, Bray Wyatt, like I said, was one of the characters I found really interesting, and I picked this figure up. I picked it up at Toys R Us. I thought it was so cool because it was the first time in a long time that I had picked up a wrestling figure that was a new wrestler, someone that I hadn't just grown up with. So I thought it was really cool. The figure itself, I liked because when I had Jakks figures, almost all the bodies were the same. There was three different body types, and this Bray Wyatt obviously is just, the pieces are way different than anything I had ever really seen. He's got a t-shirt torso, he's built bigger, he's got long pants, just so many things that were so different than what I grew up with the Jakks. And I thought this figure was really cool. It came with, I'm pretty sure it came with this lantern. It definitely came with this shirt and hat, and the chair is from a battle pack. So the battle pack was from the Wyatt family battle pack that had Luke Harper and Eric Rowan, and those were just some basics. So eventually I got the Elites, but this Bray Wyatt will always hold a dear spot in my heart. Before moving on to the rest of the Bray Wyatt figures I had, I did want to get the Wyatt family up here because, like I said, I loved the Wyatt family. When the Wyatt family had their triple threat tag team match with the Shield, I loved it. I was fully invested back in wrestling at that point. I remember before the Wyatt family, before the match even started, they were just on the apron, and the crowd was already chanting, "This is awesome." And I'm never gonna forget that. I really, really, really liked that original Wyatt family run, even though it didn't really they didn't necessarily accomplish a lot. I don't know if they were even tag champs, and it seemed like Bray Wyatt lost every big feud he was in, but I thought they were awesome. Obviously, Braun Strowman came along later. Daniel Bryan had his story with the Wyatt family where he was in them just briefly, but that run was really, really cool. So wanted to get these guys up here before I took a look at my other Bray Wyatt figures. Next, I think it is the Elite 36 Bray Wyatt, and I have head swapped it. So I think this head is from a basic that we got, but I really liked the beard. I liked the long, I like that his hair was just kind of all over the place and covered more. One thing I wish we would have gotten with Bray's figures would have been a head that like had the hair over his face, and unfortunately, we kind of had like, he had a lot of different like pants, different looks that he altered a little bit, but his figures really could have benefited from the swappable heads and hands. We are getting, I don't know if we're gonna get the ones that they've shown us, but he still had some figures that are coming down the line. But even those are still his like the modern looks that he had. And I really wish we could have gotten like a one with his hair all over the place, or like one where his hair was hanging upside down, like an Ultimate Edition Bray. Like that would have been really cool. But nonetheless, this one came with the green pants that I think he wore at SummerSlam. It had like a kind of like a knee brace on there, but it came with the like butcher smock. Is that what it's called? I can't remember. I know there was like a Creator Wrestler pack that came with the mask that he wore, and I don't know if it was a broken nose, but I think it was in NXT. He had to wear a mask for a little bit, and he had some looks that were a little bit different. I don't know if he ever actually wore this on the main roster or like wore it in a promo maybe, but I thought this was a really cool take on him. Next up is the Elite from the WrestleMania 30 Toys R Us wave, and this one is also head swapped, I think. Well, maybe not. Maybe this is what came on it. I got him off eBay, so I don't quite remember exactly. This one is my personal favorite of this character. Like the look, like I said, the Elite 28 is my favorite Bray, but I really like the look of this one. And this is it's based on WrestleMania, which, you know, now that I look at it, I'm pretty sure he's supposed to have orange on both sides. I'm not positive, but he fought John Cena. I thought he was going to win. I thought he was really that was going to be like his launch pad, and it turned out not to be. But nonetheless, this jacket, I think, might be from Elite 54. He wore a brown jacket like this. So like it was brown and it had the brown fur. I do plan on painting that. I'll probably do that soon, but for the most part, it's the same thing. We got the same pants, like the same body mold, and I thought that was good for Bray Wyatt, so I never had an issue with it. But I really like WrestleMania. I enjoyed WrestleMania 30 a lot, and even though Bray lost, he had one of my favorite live music entrances of all time. I really liked his theme music that the Wyatt family had, and it was Broken Out in Love by Mark Crozer. And they played it live, and I thought it was really cool. I was always hoping we would get that, and we did. And it had like a voodoo vibe to it. It was in New Orleans. I thought it was so cool. But then Bray lost, so that was a little dampen on the night. But nonetheless, I'm glad I had this figure to recreate that night. Next up is Elite 54, and while I don't think I swapped these heads, I'm pretty sure the arms I gave an upgrade to. So the arms I took from one of his Elite Fiend figures to give him that beefier arm look, because they always gave him those skinny arms, which I wasn't very fond of. But this figure was his like kind of post, I don't know if he was even with the Wyatt family, I don't remember. It was when he was WWE champion very briefly, and then ended up fighting Randy Orton and losing again at WrestleMania, which I thought every time I thought they were going to push him, he lost. I thought he was going to beat Cena. I thought he was going to beat Undertaker. I thought he was going to beat Randy Orton. And then he loses, and then it's just kind of like throwing my hands in the air. What the heck are we doing? But I never lost faith. I always thought we were going to get main event level, like monster heel Bray Wyatt. But this figure I really like. I like the I Am Fear on the shirt. It's got writing on the back too. I think this is the head that came with it, but it's kind of got his like braided, or his colored dreads that he had a little bit in there. But they changed the pants mold. These pants look really good. I liked these, and I think it still captured Bray's body and everything really well. So another solid figure. Next up is the Elite 85 Bray, and I know that this figure warmed pegs big time. I know that it was on ringside for a very long time. Before Bray passed away, there was a ton of these on ringside, and then when he released, they shot up in price on ringside briefly, and then I think they ended up coming back down, and then obviously once he passed, like, people went and bought everything up. But I picked up a few of these while they were cheap. I used some of these parts for customs. I like the parts that they chose for these. I think this is a completely different, like, I don't know if we've ever gotten this leg mold on another figure since. It's pinless, like, pants legs. I don't like I wish the orange pants, I think that's I don't know where the reference is from for those, but I don't think it's spot on. I wish we would have gotten like a more tan. We did get a basic figure. I don't know, I might have that somewhere. I couldn't find it. But we got a basic figure that I think hits the colors way better. But nonetheless, I really like these parts. I like the torso. They gave him the sculpted collar. They gave him pinless arms that you can use. I've used these for a few different customs. I really like the pinless arms. And then this is when we started getting to the swappable hands. So he came with the hurt heel hands. I had him in kind of a waving pose, but he had one match against The Miz where he was in this outfit, where he wrestled as Bray Wyatt instead of the Fiend, which was, I still think was weird. Like, I don't know. They always did weird things with Bray. They couldn't just like let him dominate people, but nonetheless, I think it's a good figure. I think this head scan is beautiful. I love the, I talk about it all the time. The facial hair with the true effects, I think, looks so good, and this is a perfect example of that. Next up is the Ultimate Edition Fiend, and this is one of my favorite figures. Ultimate Edition figures. I think it is like just shy of being perfect. I think the only issue with me really is the boots, and like the legs, they just look really stumpy, and I don't think it's even that inaccurate. I think the boots are fine. I just think the aesthetic for the figure looks a little frumpy, I guess. But the accessories, the detail on the mask is so cool. I love that we can swap out the arms and put on the normal arms. I have them in a bin somewhere. We all know what the Fiend looks like without his jacket on, but I really like this figure. This was like one of the ones that I like could not miss out on. I did not want to miss out on this. I love that we got his Fiend belt with it. That looks really cool. Right here, it's got all like the hurt heel. We got I think this came with it. I don't know if I took it from another figure, but we've got the Bray head lantern, just top to bottom. Like, I really like the torso choice for this. I love this Fiend figure, and honestly, I don't know what I was about to say. This figure's awesome. If you don't have it, you should pick it up, but I don't know how much it costs at the moment. Let's move on. We got a couple more Fiends to talk about. Next up is the other Ultimate Fiend, and I know a lot of people talked a lot of crap on this figure when it came out because it was, this was like the last appearance we saw for the Fiend. And when it was announced, a lot of people were like, what the heck, why are we getting another Fiend figure? And myself included, I was kind of surprised that we were. Once I got these next to each other though, they are very different. This one came with the jacket, even though he did not wear it at WrestleMania, and this is from when he fought Randy Orton and then lost in that weird match with Alexa Bliss, like kind of turning on him or something. I don't even know what happened. But then Bray was gone for a while, and you can see here, so like we've got the boots, and the boots are different, the legs are a different red. But in between these two, we had the Burnt Fiend, which is the last figure. So the Fiend, he was burned alive or some sort of thing by Randy Orton, and we did end up getting him in Elite 92. So we've got, these are the, I used to have the basics, or the Elites, sorry, and I ended up just using their arms, using them for parts, but this one I think is so cool. It's so different. It captures that like Burnt Fiend. It is like still is very stumpy. The legs are very thick. They aren't the same legs, like the same leg mold. And I don't know, are the boots even the same? Yeah, they are the same. These are the same boots. You can see he's got the toe articulation, which I just noticed. I didn't realize that, but I thought it was really cool that we got the burnt Fiend, but then at WrestleMania, we got this Fiend, whoops, and he like came back and like rejuvenated as he was walking to the ring. So I thought it was really cool. I know like that wasn't everyone's cup of tea, but like I said, I was a big horror fan, and I was rarely going to knock anything that Bray did because I just thought it was interesting. And being someone that grew up with The Undertaker and always having a supernatural character like that, like it wasn't something that bothered me. Like I know some people that just aren't into the supernatural stuff, not into the like campy horror stuff, but that is right up my alley. That is, I am all about that. I'm a huge wrestling fan, huge Marvel fan, and a huge horror movie fan. So when I can mix both of those, I absolutely love it. So that is everything for now. I don't know what the future will look like with Bray Wyatt figures. I do obviously, like I'm sure a lot of people, hope that we get the figures that they announced. I thought that blackout match Bray looked really, really cool. We already had a Bray Wyatt that we were supposed to get that ended up not getting released, and then we're going to release it in the greatest hits. So I hope that we get that. And then who knows? I don't know if they had any like modern Brays or Uncle Howdy planned, but if we don't, my plan is to wait and see if they announce anything, and then Heteration has some nice scans of the modern Bray and then Uncle Howdy. So we have to go the custom route, we will, but that is everything for today. So if you like what we're doing here, go check out some other action figure showcases we have. Please continue to like, share, subscribe. I always appreciate it. And we do have a giveaway coming up. As of recording, I'm at 748 subscribers. When I hit 750, I'm going to do a giveaway. Not quite sure yet. I'll figure something out. But once those two hit, we're doing a giveaway. And remember, you can't buy happiness, but you can buy more action figures. Figure Dude out.